Hi everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and welcome to Hymns from the Grove Hymn Stories. So the idea here is that I'm going to sing a few songs from my Hymns from the Grove album, and for those that don't know, that's an album where I recorded some of my favourite hymns and some new tunes, and just put my own twist in it. It's something that I'd been thinking about doing for quite a while. So, and we'll talk a little bit about the hymn writers and the stories behind the hymns. So, without further ado, let's start with Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. So, this song was written by Robert Robinson in 1735, and the music was composed by John Wyeth, and the song was published around 1813. In America. So the story goes that Robert Robinson was a bit of a jack the lad, kind of hang out with the wrong crowd and got into trouble. And one night he and some friends, they were on their way to basically have a laugh and scoff at George Whitefield, who was preaching nearby at the time. However, Robinson ended up becoming a Christian that night, and God just turned his life around, and some years later he trained as a Methodist minister. Then he went on to be a Baptist pastor. This song was written at the age of 23. There's also that funny line, "Here I raise my Ebenezer," in verse 2, and I have wondered in the past what does that line actually mean. But an Ebenezer is a reference to 1 Samuel 7, you can look that up, where it's seen as a symbol of God's faithfulness. And Robinson was certainly aware of his own weakness, and there's that famous line in the hymn, "Prone to wander, Lord, I feel it." And I guess we all feel that. We're all pulled away from our faith at times, and distracted from following Jesus. So this is a great hymn. So I hope you enjoy this. Come Thou Fount. Come thou fount of every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious sonnet, sung by flaming tongues above. Praise the mount I'm fixed upon it, mount of thy redeeming love. Here I raise my Ebenezer, here by thy great help I've come, and I hope by thy good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Jesus sought me as a stranger, wandering from the fold of God. He to rescue me from danger, interposed his precious blood. On that day when freed from sinning, I shall see thy lovely face, clothing in thy blood-washed linen. How I'll sing thy sovereign grace. Come, my Lord, no longer tarry, take my ransom soul away. Send thine angels now to carry me to realms of endless day. Oh, to grace, how great a debtor daily I'm constrained to be. Let thy goodness like a fetter bind my wandering heart to thee. Prone to wander, Lord, I feel it, prone to leave prone to wander, Lord, I feel it, prone to leave the God I love. Here's my heart, oh, take and seal it for thy courts above. The next hymn is probably the hymn with the most famous story, When Peace Like a River. Some of you may know the story behind this. So this song was written by Horatio G. Spafford and put to music by Philip P. Bliss. And it's thought that it was published around about 1876. Spafford was a Presbyterian layman from Chicago, also a successful businessman and lawyer, and he was known as a committed Christian and also a good friend of the famous D.L. Moody, another great preacher of the time. Sadly, Spafford lost a lot of his businesses and properties in the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. And to recover from that, he sent his wife and 4 daughters over to Europe on a ship. And the plan was that he would stay, try and sort out some of his business disasters, I guess, and get them back up and running again. And he would later join them in Europe. But the ship that his wife and daughters were in was hit by another ship and actually sank within about 12 minutes. And sadly, only Spafford's wife survived. The 4 daughters were lost at sea. This happened in 1873. And it's thought that Spafford wrote this song out of great grief over this tragedy. But yet at the same time, it's a hymn of hope, and Spafford obviously had a hope for the future. He had a hope and a security in what Jesus had done for him on the cross and rising from the dead, and this gave him a great hope, and you can hear that so much in the song. It's such a cracking song, cracking hymn. And so the tune that I'm doing is more or less based on the original tune with a few little tweaks here and there, so I hope you enjoy this. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. Though Satan should buffet, though trials should come, let this blessed assurance control, that Christ has regarded my helpless estate and has shed his own blood for my soul. It is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well with my soul. this glorious thought, my sin not in part, but the whole is nailed to the cross, and I bear it no more. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, oh my soul. It is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul. And Lord, haste the day when my face shall be sight, the clouds be rolled back as a scroll, the trump shall resound, and the Lord shall descend. Even so, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul. Peace that passes understanding, the joy of the Lord, it is my strength. No longer under condemnation, set free from the power of sin. Peace that passes understanding, the joy of the Lord, it is my strength. No longer under condemnation, set free from the power of sin. Peace that passes understanding, the joy of the Lord, it is my strength. No longer under condemnation, set free from the power of sin. Peace that passes understanding, the joy of the Lord, it is my strength. No longer under condemnation, set free from the power of sin. It is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. What an amazing hymn, isn't it? Okay. So the next hymn we have is the first one that I actually put my own tune to and gave me the idea to maybe do a hymns album of some of my favourite hymns. So this is really the hymn that started it all off. I cannot tell why he whom angels worship. So a little bit about this hymn. There's no great story behind this hymn in particular, but I can tell you that it was written by William Fullerton. He was a Baptist minister, and it was written round about 1857. He was from Belfast, and he was influenced a lot by the great Charles Spurgeon, influenced by his preaching, and later the two of them actually became good friends, and Spurgeon became a mentor to Fullerton. And Fullerton was known to regularly write poems and hymns. And I think with this hymn, it's the words are just so lovely, and they flow so nicely. And it's kind of saying that I don't know how God's going to work everything out in the end and bring everything together, but here's what I do know. And I think the way it's written is just so lovely. And I would like to think that I could write a hymn or a song as nice as this. So I hope you enjoy this. I Cannot Tell. I cannot tell why he whom angels worship should set his love upon the sons of men, or why as shepherd he should seek the wanderers to bring them back, they know not how or when. But this I know, he was born of Mary, and Bethlehem's manger was his only home, and that he lived at Nazareth and labored. And so the Savior of the world is come, he has come. I cannot tell how silently he suffered, as with his peace he graced this place of tears, or how his heart upon the cross was broken, the crown of pain to 33 years. But this I know, he heals the broken-hearted, and stays our sin, and calms our lurking fear, and lifts the burden from the heavy laden. For yet the Savior of the world is here, he is here. I cannot tell how he will win the nations, how he will claim his earthly heritage, how satisfy the needs and desperations of east and west, of sinner and of sage. But this I know, all flesh will see his glory, and he shall reap the harvest he has sown. And some glad day his sun will shine with splendor, when the Savior of the world is known, he can be known. I cannot tell how all the lands will worship, when at his bidding every storm is stilled, or who can say how great the jubilation, when all the hearts of men with love are filled. But this I know, the skies will thrill with rapture, and myriad myriad human voices sing, and earth to heaven, and heaven to earth will answer. At last the Savior, Savior of the world is King. He is King. Yes, you are King. Thanks very much. I'm just going to have a wee swig of my green tea. Oh, that's quite nice and refreshing. Okay, on to the next hymn. Blessed Assurance, Jesus is Mine. So with this one, again, I decided to write a completely new tune. And this one was written by an American hymn writer by the name of Fanny Crosby. And she's actually thought to have written over 8,000 hymns, and apparently some hymns of hers are still being discovered now. So Fanny Crosby was of course blind, and she used to teach at a blind school. She used to teach music and piano. The original tune for this song was composed by Phoebe Knapp. And again, there's no particular story behind this hymn, but the story goes that Phoebe Knapp played this tune for Fanny Crosby, and she heard it, and Phoebe asked her, well, what comes to mind when you hear this tune? And Fanny said, well, this is Blessed Assurance, Jesus is mine. That's what she said, and that's the words that she wrote for this tune. So as I say, I'm doing my own tune, so I hope you enjoy this one. Blessed Assurance. Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine, heir of salvation, purchase of God, born of His Spirit, and washed in His blood. This is my story, and this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, and this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Perfect submission, perfect delight, visions of rapture now burst on my sight. Angels descending, ring from above, echoes of mercy and whispers of love. This is my story, and this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, and this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. perfect submission, all is at rest. I and my Savior, I'm happy and blessed, watching and waiting, looking above, filled with His goodness and lost in His love. This is my story, and this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, and this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. My hope will rest in God alone. My salvation comes from Him. And when I fall, He will hold me again in His everlasting arms. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, and this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. You are my story, and you are my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Yeah, you are my story, and you are my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Well, hope you enjoyed that hymn. We've got one more to go, but just before we do our last song, just to say there's a link in the description below, and you can find my music there. I've also put a PayPal link, so if you would consider donating to my music, that would help. That would really help. It just helps go towards making new music in the future. And on that note, I'm planning an EP. I'll be working on that very shortly. I've already got some songs written for that, so look out for that coming soon. But yeah, please consider making a donation, because it really does help the cost of recording and reproduction and marketing and all that kind of stuff. So thanks for that, and yeah, do follow the links to find the other music as well. So finally, great is thy faithfulness, or as I'm calling it, great is your faithfulness. This is a hymn that I felt was one of the key hymns to the album. And again, I decided to put my own new tune to this, and I was quite pleased with how it turned out. So for those of you who don't know, the story behind this hymn, again, there's not a huge story behind it, but there is something about the writer who had great faith in his God and how his God would provide. So it was written by Thomas Chisholm, published around 1923 in Kentucky, and it was put to music by William Runyon. So Chisholm was from quite a humble background, working class background. He worked really hard at school and ended up becoming a teacher, and he also went on to become a newspaper editor. However, his career was kind of halted by ill health. He suffered from ill health quite a lot. But yet many a time he was known to attest to God's care and provision for him. And that's the theme of this song. This song was among the several that he'd sent to Runyon to compose some music for. And this song was eventually, years later, published for use in church worship. So really the key of this song is that Chisholm is attesting to God's faithfulness, and I'm sure many of us who have been Christians for quite a while can say the same, that God is incredibly faithful. So we'll finish with this song, and again, thanks so much for tuning in and watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've been blessed. Great is thy faithfulness, O God my Father. There is no shadow of turning with you. You never change, your compassions, they fail not. As you have been, you forever will be. Great is your faithfulness, great is your faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, your hand has provided. Great is your faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Summer and winter and springtime and harvest, sun, moon and stars in their courses above, join with all nature in manifold witness to your great faithfulness, mercy and love. Oh, great is your faithfulness, great is your faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, your hand has provided. Great is your faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Pardon for sin and a peace that endures, your own dear presence to cheer and to guide, strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow, blessings all mine and 10,000 beside. Oh, great is your faithfulness, great is your faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, your hand has provided. Great is your faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Oh, great is your faithfulness, great is your grace, and all your loving kindness to me every day. Oh, great is your faithfulness, great is your grace, and all your loving kindness to me every day. Great is your faithfulness, great is your faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see.